So this is David with USAhomelesscrisis, and I'm in Las Vegas. And I have a Navy veteran here that's homeless, and I want him to tell us his story. So everybody, listen to him, my friend. How you doing today?
Good.
Introduce yourself.
All right, my name's, I'll use my YouTube channel. I'm Viking One.
Viking One.
Yes, and
We have Viking One here.
my grandmother was from most likely Lviv, Ukraine. I'm from Northeast Ohio. I do have a gambling problem, so that's one of the main reasons I'm on the street. But I don't do drugs. I drink a little bit. I don't consider myself an alcoholic. But I was on a battleship, USS New Jersey. I got an Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, which makes me a combat vet. I was only in the danger zone for about 2 weeks. The guys that I consider more of a combat vet are Marines, Special Forces, infantry on the ground pounders. But by definition, I just want to say that those guys really, I'll use what Lincoln said, they bore the brunt of battle. So there's a lot of us out here, about 22 vets commit suicide a day, and the government could do much more, and but they're doing something, and I thank David here for showing what's going on, and I've curtailed my gambling quite a bit recently, and I'm working hard to get off the streets.
So would you say gambling, that was the main reason that made you become homeless?
Yeah. I had a bookie. Where I'm from, there's a lot of Italian mafia. I mean, the whole town and county was run by the Italian mafia. So about 15 years old, I was getting parlays to bet on, and then it just stuck. And I got a little bit of a compulsive personality, but through God's grace, I'm overcoming. I'll say that. I'm hopeful.
What were you doing before you became homeless, after you got out of the military?
All right, I did. There's a lot of good flea markets and swap meets in Ohio, so I was doing swap meets and flea markets, and I've got some engineering credits in college. I did construction. I would test soil and concrete at construction sites. But right now I'm 60. I just turned 60 in October. My back and knees, I can't do that much anymore like that. So.
Do you get any disability or anything from the military? And the reason why I ask that is because you have people that will say that they were in the military also, and they don't believe a person should be homeless. They believe that if you were in the military some kind of way, and I don't agree with this at all, that you should be able to overcome homelessness. What do you say to those people?
Well, I'm hopeful. I think a lot of people can, and then some people need a helping hand too. So it's kind of like a two-pronged answer on that.
Yeah, because the reason why I brought that up is because I've met people from all walks of life that's homeless, from school teachers to engineers to military heroes such as yourself, people who serve this country well and with great honor, and they for some reason have become homeless. And that's what my channel is about, to bring out the reality of homelessness and to let them know that this could easily be us, the person looking in the mirror. So when they say that,
comment.
Yes, that is true, and that's why I asked that my homeless people tell their true stories on what's going on out here with homeless life, no matter where you came from.
Yeah. It takes God's grace. I am a Christian, and if we really trust in the Lord, which sometimes it takes a while, we can overcome really anything. But like I say, sometimes people do need a helping hand, And I'll quote that statistic again, 22 vets I mean, I got this on my wrist. Maybe you could hear. I thank God that I don't get depressed. But yeah, that's the 800 number a vet can call. Support our veterans. There's an 800 number. I always keep it on my wrist because a lot of these guys were in really tough situations. You know, Operation Enduring Freedom, Iraqi, I forget the names, Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I was closer to that. I'm more of a Gulf era veteran. And, you know, Afghanistan, I mean, who knows? They might have seen their friend get killed. I just heard from a Marine who was Special Forces, those rocket-propelled grenades, if you get hit with one of those, you bleed out so fast, there's nothing you can do. And these guys see their friends get blown up. So of course there's gonna be emotional problems and PTSD, you know, but God's grace can help anyone.
You know, and that is a true statement. I've heard that traumatic events in people's lives help contribute to their homelessness. And we have a lot of vets returning from Desert Storm and those different operations, Enduring Freedom and Desert Shield and operations in Afghanistan. They've seen a lot and went through a lot, but yet when they get out, I don't know if the government is taking care of them and looking at those syndromes that come back from being in war and hearing loud noises and all of that.
I'll say this, even if you were a reservist, now to get the VA benefits, you got to do 20 years if I'm not mistaken. But if you were a reservist that was in a combat zone for one day, our government should do more, you know, even one day. Because that one day, you could have been injured or taken out, you know. But for some reason, the reservists, you know, they got to do 20 years to be considered veteran status by the VA. And I think that should be changed. So,
as you, by being a military veteran, you have a unique perspective about different things.
Right.
What do you think the government should do more for the veterans? What is it that could be done that could help the veterans like yourself get back on your feet without going through a lot of red tape?
All right, you just said it. The red tape is just unbelievable. You know, if it takes that long to get benefits or money from a disability, or it takes too long. So if they could speed up the process and help our vets, I think that would be a lot of help.
Well, that would help a lot, and I wish we could find a way to streamline that process to where we can help our veterans. I heard a speech by our president, and he was talking about different initiatives that he want to put forth to help the homeless people. And I don't know if you heard that, but I want to bring up a few points to you and see what you think about them.
Okay.
First of all, he said that he knows there's a homeless crisis and he want to solve it, and he's been thinking about it.
Sure.
So the first thing he said, that he know there are people out there that are homeless that want to be homeless, and he understand that, but he's gonna give them a choice to get rehabilitated and to get back on with their life, because there's an ordinance to where people can't sleep outside, and
Yeah.
he's gonna enforce that ordinance by putting people in jail that's called camping outside.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So he says that he want to help the people by getting the ones that won't help. And he knows other ones that don't want help, and he understands that. But the help he's saying is by, he says he's going to bring in health professionals,
Right.
from social workers to mental health professionals to people that can help get your identification and everything together,
Right.
and get people rehabilitated. And then he says he's going to work with the states and try to buy inexpensive parcels of land so he can relocate homeless people and create tent cities, which he said they're going to be beautiful. Tent cities for homeless people to go to. Those are the first two things. And he's saying that he's going to also help people who have been down on their luck for a short period of time get back on their feet. And I don't know how he says he's going to do that, but
Right.
he says he's going to do that to help them quickly get back in society.
Right.
And the last point, he says he knows people out here that's homeless that have serious mental issues that need to be in mental institutions. And he says he's gonna work to get them the help they need. Now, as being a military veteran, what do you think about those initiatives?
All right, I gotta be honest, that is questionable. Because, you know, when you start putting people in mental institutions, you know, what are they gonna do? When sometimes when you're in a vulnerable position, people who work in these places might not be very nice. So that's one of the reasons why I think it could be a problem. And even tent cities, you know, you might have a lot of good people who are trying to get out of their situation, and then you might have a lot of people who are just trying to take the government for a ride. So, yeah, you know, you had to say something. I'm not on board with that 100%.
Okay, and you have your right to your opinion, and that's why this channel is dedicated to the homeless people to get their voices heard. And
because some people they're just dug in. I mean, they don't want to change. You know, if they don't want to change, there's only so much you can do. You know, and but tough circumstances may lead you to say, you know, I had enough and it's time to turn a new leaf, or just try to get a job or do something productive for society. You know, to bottom out, hot or cold, I'll make it in a Christian perspective. You know, if you get too hot or too cold, you know, that's good for a change. I'll say that.
Well, if you had the power, how would you end homelessness and help the homeless people?
Oh, wow, that, you know, once again, there's a lot of multi-prongs. For those who have some deep-seated, real emotional problems, there might be, I don't want to say institutionalized, but they got to have some type of treatment. And right now, I don't have a definite answer for that. But just to start rounding people up and putting them in camps, you know, that's not the answer either. I'd have to look into it more and find a better way. Well, I'll say this. Back in the day, during the Works Project Administration, you know, maybe if you put homeless people in a camp, provide a work projects administration way to make money, maybe on infrastructure, you know? But there's a lot of guys, if given the chance to work, you know, construction, that can do it through like a works project administration. All right, I like, now this is coming out. I think that can work. During the Depression, and our infrastructure needs a lot of improvement. So some type of WPA, you know, where they're not worked like slaves and they're paid a decent wage, but give that opportunity to the vets or the homeless people that will take advantage of it. So I like that answer.
And that makes a lot of sense. And we would like to also get your opinion on what it can be done to change the public perception on people that are homeless, so they can treat them with more dignity and respect. One of the things I hear more than anything is that the homeless people are not treated the same as everybody else. They treated less than human. They say people, when they see them, turn the other way. They throw things at them and say derogatory things toward them. So you being a person that's a military veteran and homeless, what would you like to say to those people about people that's homeless so they can feel the same way as homeless people feel?
All right, Jesus said, if you've done it not to the least of these, you've done it not to me. And I've lost my temper before, not that often, and I know when to walk away because I don't want to get in a fight or go to jail. But yeah, I've experienced both sides of the coin. People who would give their shirt off their back to help me, and other people that look at me, or if they say, why don't you get an effing job? That's a good thing, depending on how it's presented, but there are people that aren't very nice. And I've lost my temper, and thank God I know when to walk away, because not too long ago, I was on the verge of throwing punches, but I settle down, I walk away, I leave the area, I'm okay. But it does happen.
Okay. Well, thank you for your interview and letting us know what's going on through the eyes of a homeless veteran. And I want everybody to know that someone who served this country, and we should do better than to not help him out. So I want everybody to talk to the congressmen and senators to see if there's something more that can be done to help the homeless people. Is there anything else you would like to say, maybe to your family or to anybody else as we conclude?
No, but thank you for what you're doing, because people need to know.
Well,
And remember, I'll say this, 22 veterans commit suicide on average. It's a statistic a day, and that is just terrible. So if anything, remember those veterans. A lot of them were in really bad situations.
thank you. And make sure everybody at USA Homeless Crisis remember the veterans. Thank you so much.